Yeah.
Oh boy, in the building.
We back once again. Screen's going off. It's all good, but I'm here. Back once again
in a new space
for the world.
New place in the new time on your dime.
Yeah, well, same time, different place.
You know,
Studio B.
I'm waking up, man. Practicing.
I know. We're trying to get there. we in Studio B right now. Things a little different. Got things going a little. This is the temporary setup. It started out as a weekend project, and it's now been moved out to 3 weeks, and that easily could turn into a month. But we just trying. I'm trying to make sure it gets done.
I get it
properly, so that when we go back, we're going to take the best of what was before. And I think I'm probably going to like the setup I have now here. And I'm going to put it together. So it's going to require some decluttering and giving stuff away. If anybody out there wants some old CPA review books or old income tax guides, I mean old too, hit us up.
Really old.
I got them for you. I mean, just, if you want to learn, I don't know. I don't know. And it could be useful. Not sure. But anyway. But here we are. Back again. Holidays. Studio audience is taking the time to show up.
Wow. Last weekend before the new year.
Mm-hmm. And it is also our 99th episode. 99.
Wow.
99 episodes, B.
Wow.
That's roughly 198 weeks. Because, bi-weekly. We've had some times that was off and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the 100th episode, my gosh. I guess we lined some people up for episode 100.
Do something a little different.
Yeah. I think what we should bring in some business owners.
Absolutely.
Whether they're aspiring or they're in it, just starting something like that, so we can discuss theories with them in real time. I think that would be cool. We get the experts. We got to bring our expert panels back through. Tax season. We got to bring some of our financial advisors through to get people acclimated. But I will tell you, I've been studying. I've been thinking about some stuff. I've been thinking about investing, and something I want to make sure we explore next year is investing. Both in your business, in yourself. We talked about it, but we want to get more granular. After episode 100, then you gotta because you said it in 100 episodes. So you gotta get a little bit deeper.
Yeah,
100 episodes. I mean, look, how many times can I tell you? Make sure you do your books.
Right.
It's important. Okay. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. So, that's we got to get a little more granular. We have some more stuff going on in the content world and all that, but so that's it. But I have to say, hold up, we gotta. I know you. I know where you at. So we're gonna get this pumped up. 99 episodes, man. 99 episodes, that's.
In case anybody's curious, 2025.
The people love it. I can't control the people.
2025. Watch this. 2025. We did 99 episodes. 2025 is 2 + 2 is 5 is 9.
Oh boy. Okay, he's waking up now. You ain't had no tea yet.
Well, I got it right here, right in front of me.
Okay, you're consuming in real time. Very good.
Absolutely.
So, that's the thing.
That's completion. That's completion. So when you talk about being granular, moving forward, we hit episode 100 and going forward. There's new beginnings, new opportunities, new things.
Yep. The new messages, new thing. I'm really hype about that because this is once again probably gonna be one of the most revered episodes. The last episode, we got a lot of feedback on the last episode, and we planned nothing. It was nothing planned.
Do we really plan anything? No, we don't.
No, I know, but I think we moving forward, we've always had guardrails.
Yeah.
It's because we got to get granular now. So it's almost like we got to go back to our stuff and say, you know what, like teachers, and say, okay, we need to drill down on this. Doesn't change the way we get down. I'm just saying that, it's like a roadmap. Yeah, we're gonna talk about this now and bring people in. But completion, I was just off you saying completion. I was like, you know what? That's one of the 2026 words. Completion. I mean, but in order to complete, you got to implement or start or what have you.
Start. I will go start first.
Yeah, but a lot of it, the reason I moved start because it's like starting is easy. Like, like
yeah.
I mean, you start, you get started.
For most people, I mean, for some people, I don't even know what word to use. But starting can be, depending on what you start, and it's not easy.
Well, yeah. Well, I guess it's two-tiered. To get up off your butt and actually decide you're going to start is hard.
Stand up. Let's go stand up first. That's easy.
Yeah.
Taking a step to go and do what you're going to do could be the hard piece.
Yeah. Well, it could be. In that whole, wherever you at in that, I'm talking about the people that's already started.
Right? Oh, okay.
That part is, maybe that's the better way to say it. You've already started. That's easy. Because you're full of ideas, enthusiasm, passion. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get it. I'm excited. But then the excitement, levels out. And you get faced with something. And sometimes you go back and then you question what you started. Am I even doing it? Right? I mean, is this really what I wanted? Because your expectation from starting was, I'm going to start, boom. Everything's going to work. Everything's going to roll fast. So this year, I started talking more about implementation. I'm right now, I'm in a season to make it all, life coachy and understood out here. I'm in a season of implementation. I don't see this season sunsetting anytime soon, God willing, right? But the season of implementation, because I'll just give my own personal story here. I'm surrounded by brilliant people that have wonderful ideas. And I got good ideas too, but I'm surrounded by them. But in my history of being out here doing my own thing for, why is it?
Don't tell on yourself now.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna tell something.
He like 100, but he don't look like he 100.
Yeah, it's like in entrepreneur years. I'm 100 entrepreneur years.
Yeah.
So, there's some people really old in entrepreneur years, man. So, like that.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, so you executing a plan is the challenge, and that's what many people, they get lost and they give up because the plan, well, one, if they make a plan, that's your department, they'll come to you. But even they make a plan. In fact, I just had a discussion with a buddy of mine this week who's starting a company, and he's stepping up, he's stepping forward, he's got things happening, prototypes going on, potential investor, things like that. And I pulled a you. I said, so what about your business plan? And he told me, all the things he had going on, and what in short, he didn't feel like he needed a business plan because he had these things going on.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you're right, you had these things going on. But I said, remember, the business plan is for you. And it's nothing more than how you plan on making money. Okay. That's what it is. That's how I summarize it. It's a plan. Now, there's all these tentacles to the plan, but it doesn't have to be complicated. It's also a living document because situations change. And you need it to get back to your why. It's something we talk about. Like when things are suspect and you're not feeling that great about what you're doing, you have something to go back to. You got the plan. And all that is part of implementation. Of course, the usual episode we'd be right now talking about, well, it's time to plan for next year. Things that's. And
I think they know that though, right? At this particular point.
Yeah, at this point, you should 99 episodes, kind of get an idea what's going on.
But those episodes if you want.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that let's talk a little bit deeper about that. What I'm finding in lots of conversations, because it's like all my friends got businesses. It's interesting, but we tend to neglect the plan of, when all these businesses we're talking about, we are the business. Let's just be real about it. We are the business.
Mm-hmm.
The business is there to benefit you. You're probably the primary, if not only shareholder. It's all you. So how many times people just sit down and say, I need to make $60,000 at minimum from this business? More people are usually at the whims of, I hope I do well next year so I could pay these bills. As opposed to saying, yo, no, I need to make this per year. Even if you fall short, you get to know that. Now, the difference is because now some of your moves, we talk a lot about strategic and, this, and that. What's important is once you know your moves, you're going to make your moves based on what, and it is proven. You can go biblical, you can go scientific, ethical, method, whatever method, man, whoever you want to listen to. When you start voicing things and putting them out there and making it, your brain focuses on that.
It's called developing the neuroplasticity of the brain.
Wow, what he said. So when you have these things happening, when they happen, if you don't say, so like you start the year and you're just empty. You're saying, oh, I hope I do well. Well is not quantitative. You can't spend well. When it's time to pay the bill, you can't say, hey, Duke Energy, I'm doing well. Here you go. No, they send you a bill with numbers on it, and they want you to remit that dollar amount. So, well, for you, for some people, is 60,000, 50,000, shoot, 30,000. I don't know. No one can tell you how much money you need to live on. I don't know. That's why I love when they come in for, I want to do some planning and XYZ. So
what's your goal? What's your goal? What's your goal? What's your goal? I don't know. I was hoping you could tell me.
Yeah, like what, will you cut me in on the deal? I mean, like, so look, that's the next time somebody says that, I say, oh, you cutting me in then. All right, cool. So, but the thing is what they don't know, because people don't think goal centric and goal planning. Some of it comes from, I think it's the evolution of being a wage earner to running your show. So the wage earner is you present yourself out there. Companies say, hey, we're interested in you. Come work with us. This is what we have to pay you. We can pay you. And then you go back and you you might negotiate. You ain't negotiating that much. I mean, you think they not going outside their budget for you, despite what you think is going on. They might just put you on the low side of the budget and then they boost you up. But trust me, because that's why no one ever thinks they make enough money. Because no one's gonna pay you what you think you worth. I mean, like that's
but see, that's a conundrum too, because do people really know what that looks like? Value, worth, right? What does that even mean? And I think it's, a lot of people so used to putting a number on something because of an hourly wage or what we've been programmed to believe in terms of hours. So I bring you value. I open my mouth and I step into place and I'm there and present, and that's my value. So you have to pay me X, Y, and Z. I'm worth this. When that's not really what it is, because truth of the matter is the reason businesses are businesses is to bring a result to something. So what are your results? What are you bringing? What are the outcomes that you can help someone get to? That's what we need to look at. And then that's how you tie in the worth, the dollar amount. Yeah. If you really want to get down to it, because now you got room to shift.
Yeah. And so we got a quick comment here. We're on a 70-inch TV. Wow. Man, should have went and got my stuff together. 70-inch TV. I guess that's why you got to stay ready. So you ain't gonna get ready. Right there, we on 70. Wow. Hey, Donna, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. We'll talk. Absolutely.
Hello, Donna. Hey, yep. Donna.
Yep. We will see that. We will talk. Absolutely. We'd love to help you. That's a beautiful thing right there. So what happens is that people to get, it's they don't have the goal. So like I said, just to build off what you're saying, it's a known thing. People that are in business, you will learn, and it's a thing out there that people like. When you hire somebody, your target is to get back to value 3 times they should be worth 3 times your salary, their salary to you. That's like an unwritten rule. So no one's going to pay you what you're worth because there's a profit motive. I mean, you might be worth $300,000. I'm not paying you $300,000, and neither is anybody else. So that's there. So what comes back, well, I say you get into it now you're the boss. You're the hiring, even if you're hiring yourself. You don't know your market value in what you do. A lot of times it's outside of what you did for a career or something. So you don't really know your market value. You and you don't put it on there. So you just start working. Mm-hmm. Because when you have a job, you don't have to worry about it. They've already told you your value. I'm paying you this. I'm giving you a bonus. You're on X, Y, Z. It's all good. That's what you're getting. So you don't have to think about it. So when you get there, you're in the seat, and you're sitting there and you're like, well, I don't know. I just don't know if people even sit down and say, look, I'm going to challenge myself to make what I made in my last job. Even something like that is a goal because you got some sense of a value. Chances are you're going to make less than what you made at your last job. It's just, especially in the beginning. Now you get those folks that, they took a contract from their last job or XYZ, or their job is now contracting them to work for them. Most times they're still establishing the value to you. They're still saying, hey, well, because what it is a benefit for them. Instead of paying the cost of you as an employee, I'm going to give you all the money. You deal with yourself. You're going to see it as an increase, but you're not aware of your self-employment tax. Just sticking with that. There's no retirement cost for them, no health insurance cost for them. They do that. So when you get your contract from a job puts you as a contractor, and that bump that you're collecting, now you've absorbed all their costs. So guess what? They're still making 3 times the money they paid you. Now they're making 3.5 times the money they paid you because they don't have those other fringe benefits.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's interesting. I wonder where that came from. Anyway, so we don't establish our own payment goals, like our goal. So if you start out, so now we're gonna stick with that scenario. You start out, you have that goal, you have that place. Let's just say, you were making 75, they gave you 100,000. You're not going to keep 100,000 now. And a lot of these contractors, you don't even have to incur. We've seen this. Like, you don't have to incur any expenses. They give you everything you need to do the job. So it's we get some people, we're like, yeah, I'm contracting now. Something. We're like, so do you need this? No, they give me a computer. Okay.
Did you buy a tractor trailer?
Yeah, they said nothing. Or they were like, oh no, they reimbursed me for everything. I'm like, wow, they really, like you jammed up, but you're not gonna keep all that bread because now off top, we 15.4 off top.
Mm-hmm.
Coming off there for your self-employment tax. So now you have to learn how to live off of that. That's another thing a job does for you. It gives you, you not getting more than what your take home pay.
Right.
That's what it is. So you don't have to think about, I think, and look, I've been a wage earner too. And there was a point where it was getting too good. So I had to leave. I had to go. I was getting too accustomed to it. I'm saying, like, you don't think about
explain that to the people.
Okay. Well, I'll explain in the context of what I was about to say. Like, I think having the wage earning, at least for me, I'm speaking for myself, you could kind of, you think more about what you don't have because you're getting something all the time. So the reason I knew I had to go, because I still had clients on the side too, and I was working crazy, but there was weeks where I was like, oh, I'm getting paid this week. Like, I didn't even, you know what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't even cognizant. It was like this. I didn't have to think about when I went to the store if there was money in the bank. I didn't have to, if I wanted to do something, sometimes the cash is there. I didn't have to be as prudent with the cash. I'd be like, it's $1,500. Oh, okay. Well, I look in the bank. Oh, there's $3-4 grand in there. All right. Here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not thinking about it like that. Going, doing all that stuff. And I was like, you get detached from it. You know what I'm saying? Because the money comes in. In most cases, it comes in and goes out. Now, granted, like I said, I was doing all right because I had my thing on the side too. So I was doing all right. So, but I remember feeling like there was, starting. Now, first, the work was ridiculous, but it got to the point where it was like, I'm not even checking my bank balance. Like, I'm, now, mind you, I'm going from being my own, self-employed to I get into this world, this corporate world where it's like, the money's just coming in. Now, when I had my store, I had to check back every day. Literally, I had to check. And we talking about, this wasn't the online banking. This was, I had to call to hear what the balance was. Like,
oh my goodness, you telling on yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying what it is. Like, boom, then we got to the online thing, and this still was a deal where there was a check out there. You had 3-4 days to go get the money in the bank. Yeah, that ended in 2015. It was 2005, I think. Whatever. It was bad. It was bad. But so then you go from that to, okay, you getting this check. You getting it. Okay. So you get placated. You sit there and you get the same amount throughout the year. Then at the end of the year, you go through a review and someone tells you, you know what? You're worth 2% more. Thank you. Appreciate that. Like, really, yes. So, but the money is there. You're used to this. You're accustomed to this now. Like you I mean, you know, you're accustomed to it. It's good. It's getting comfortable. We're good. So for me, it was known that I was not meant to be a career-long corporate person. I knew for a fact that I was not the corporate person. And it was showing in my attitude at work, which is like, it was fine. But I did the calculus and I said, man, if I don't get out of here, I'm going to get to another level of pay. And if I get to another level of pay, it's going to be way harder to walk away. And I was like, it's just going to be way harder. Like, it's going to be almost, you know, simply because if I get higher pay, I might get a bigger house. Now I got a bigger house, higher pay. I'm really going to look crazy. I walk away.
You're gonna go get that mini yacht and the airplane that you 55.
Yeah. Pontoon boat and a glider, hang glider. It's like, yeah, that. But so it came down to as I made the decision. I said, yo, nah, I gotta be out because, you know, I was like, I gotta go. Like I knew, and I took exception to the fact that someone judged my work for 12 months and told me I could get 2 to 3%. I'm like, wait, huh? I could hustle that. Like, you know, I'm like, what is it like this? So, but that's me. All right. But what the point I'm making is that when you're a wage earner, I mean, your salary, your income is dictated, and that's the trade-off. You get a consistent income. Presumably, you don't have to worry about your income. I mean, that's the deal. You go to work, they're going to pay you. That's that. So you don't have to be as in tune to your money. There are people that do it, and that's where you see these people that they're budget masters and they do all this stuff. But generally speaking, because other things that happen too is that when you make money, you justify spending. So you say, I work hard, so I should be able to ... where it may not even jive with your financial reality at the time. So you know, man, I deserve this new car. Why? Because they give you a low APR with so and so. They're gonna make you feel good about it. Hey, you sold cars. Hey, listen, they're gonna make you fall in love with a car. They gonna look. There's a sidebar. Now I'm gonna do the reverse. I'm gonna speak as a consumer watching people buy cars. You got look. Unless you got two types. Me and my father and uncles, we really just used to go look at cars, you know. No cats would do it. But if you're not savvy enough, you leaving with a car. So just if you go in there and give any hint that you ready to buy a car,
you're out of here.
Yeah. You're leaving with a car.
Yeah, you want your trade in and everything. We got you.
They gonna make
traded. The book says worth $200. Book says worth $200, but we're gonna give you $2,000 towards it.
Yeah,
and then boom, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In
the finance, you paying for it,
and they sink that into your payments.
So that's what I'm saying. So now you got a bad week at work, XYZ. Man, can't stand this. Man, I'm getting this car. I'll feel better. You know, don't go on a Saturday. Oh, man, it's over. You because your energy is there. They like, you done had a bad week.
Or the end of the month, or the end of the last week of the month.
Oh yeah, they making deals.
Especially around this time of the year. This time of the year is dangerous.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sure. I mean, dangerous. People feeling good. Holidays, they off for about 2 weeks or a week. Yep, because that's when you usually
see tax time. Tax time is the biggest deal.
Yeah, that's all.
We get a lot of people that say, I just bought a car. I just bought bought a 6,000-pound car to write off. What you think about that?
Yeah. And then you got like $200 in income. Yeah, I dig it. So but what I'm getting at is, when you're a wage earner, it's you know, it's set for you. And you don't really look at, people don't really budget, man. Let's be real. People don't really, really budget. And it's partially because it feels like a restriction. And nobody likes to feel like their money is restricted. Like nobody wants to say, like, I can't buy that. Because then that alludes to you don't have any money. So it's just all these sociological things that go on there. But budgeting, we could call it planning. It's just planning. Oh, and planning. That's what we don't have. We don't. One of the things that can be done, services that can be done for business is compensation planning. A lot of times for the owner, and it's not directly listed to taxes. Compensation plan. If you're solo, we need to plan, because if you're the only person getting paid, forget how you get paid, 1099, all this other stuff. At the end of the day, if you're the owner, you have got to make enough money to live, or there's no business. Very simple. Simple as that. So if you need $60,000 to live, got to go to your pocket, but you need $35,000 to market, promote, whatever cost of you doing business. That means our gross sales has to be $95,000 on the low end. That's it. That's our plan. That's our plan. May not make the plan. It may take a year or two for you to get to that plan. But now we have a target.
You got GPS coordinates, direction.
Exactly. We know like, oh, we got to be at this intersection. This is where we are. This is the minimum I need to live off of. And it doesn't hurt to do that even before you start, because chances are you're not going to start and the floodgates are going to open. So there may be a 2, 3, 12-month lag before the market starts reacting to your offering. So if you have, 65, we'll call it, we call it 60. So you need $5,000 a month. And there's more nuance to this too, but let's just keep it simple, for listening. You need $5,000 a month. Do you have any $5,000 a month saved? If you don't, is this the right time for you to start? I'm not going, I'm not going, oh, well, you need to have 3 months saved in emergency, because when you're in business, your money flows is different. It's just different. It's just a different flow. If you had 3 months, kudos, but it might take you 5 years to be able to save 3 months worth of salary on the side, and that's just being realistic. That's being successful. That's not, it just might happen because you may reinvest that to grow the business more. It's not just that, like, you're going to blow the money. You might just say, yo, you know what, this year I'm taking my salary only, whatever the profits are, I'm just going to put back in because I want to increase the salary. So that's that. You might be like, I'm not, whatever. That's a little more personal. But what I'm saying is that you may not be ready. If you're not ready to scramble and do it, it doesn't mean don't do it. It just means, maybe stay at your job till you got 1 month, a month and a half, enough credit to get you through. You have to, you think about it. I mean, because you got the entrepreneurs that go all out, nuts like me. Yeah, I'm going. I don't even care. Burn the boats. It doesn't matter like that.
Then you got some that don't have a choice, right?
Yeah, once you do that, you don't have a choice. Well, everybody if you're going to be successful, you're going to burn the boat at a different time. The difference is when you burn the boat and, how much you got on land with you when you burn the boat. So if you got provisions, you might have provisions to make you here. You got plans like that. But I just see a lack of that type of planning. And I see also people get to, because you go to wonderful workshops, it's great, different places where people have information, and it's about the business plan. This, and then you have to do check out your market and get all that stuff. And all that stuff is important. Don't get me wrong, but everybody talks about that. I don't hear anybody say, look, dude, how much money you plan to make out of this? That's probably one of the fewest asked questions ever. When you say, well, how much money you plan to make? And you know it. I don't know. Okay. What are we doing then?
I don't know if I can make that much. Can I really make that much? Like, what do you mean? Can you make that much? Absolutely.
Yeah, but I also count it as like, do you need that much? It may not be enough.
But it's not enough. Most times it's not enough.
Well, yeah, it may not be enough, but yeah. But you don't know. If you don't know what your mortgage, all your stuff is, well, you know what, we use MVP, minimal viable product, is minimal cash for me to live. So how much is that? That's your first step, especially in the early part. When you're in the struggle phase of business, like we talk about, striving, thriving, and arriving. When you struggling, you got to know enough to keep, because you are the business. You got to stay active. You got to stay there in order for the business to continue to grow. So you have to, so it's a number you have to get that, I need that. And that's why I think it's difficult. And most people do undershoot it because they think just of the business. They're like, the business expenses, or the business needs, I've had that before. Well, the business needs to make $3,000 a month. Well, if we shoot for what the business needs, guess who's not going to get any money? So I would say, well, so you need 5,000 a month. No, I need 3,000. No, you need 5,000 because 2,000 got to come to you.
For the goal, see where you land.
Yeah, and just to keep it, because you got to eat, and no one out here is in business not to eat that I know of. You never know. Everybody got to eat, man. That's what you get up every day and try to work on, so you can eat and your family can eat. You got to eat, but there's going to be lean times. All right, we got the homie in the building, but it's going to be lean times. But if you don't focus on what you need to eat, this, what happens? What we focus on?
T, what up, T? Good afternoon, T.
SC House of Wings in the building.
Yeah, go get right. Some wings.
He knows the joint. Profit first, absolutely. That's a theory behind it. But what I'm saying is that people they don't think about eating.
I'm gonna give you a word that I was thinking about last night.
Oh boy.
I was just having this conversation, but it's funny how you started today's show, and I think this is the true measure of how do you figure out for yourself what you. So, for example, like if you go to a roller coaster park. Mm-hmm. Are you there for the ground entertainment, or are you there for the roller coaster? You already know what your capacity is, right? Mm-hmm. And if not, you're going to learn very quickly what your capacity is, right? So the word is resilience.
100%.
Right? It's not about avoiding the hardships that you're going to run across, right? It's really about developing the internal, most importantly, and the external capacity, but the external understanding that is needed for you to move through things without breaking. And that's where being a business owner, that's the road, that's the journey, that's the ride you're going to be on. You're always tested. You're always,
forget about it.
You're going to be asking yourself questions and feeling certain things that you never even thought, or that you thought you had all the answers to, or you thought that you knew about, and you come into new things, and it all breaks down into being resilient. If you're resilient, the business can be resilient, because the business is a heartbeat created by you. And once it's created, it now has its own heartbeat and it's moving fast. Can you keep up? So you gotta measure, find a way to measure your resilience. What type of pain can you push through? What type of pressure can you push through? What type of because there's gonna be situations where you're gonna lose your identity. You'll have what's that? What's the name of that?
Imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome. You're gonna go through that. You know what I mean? And then you have to be able to, like when a diver goes diving, right? They have a string or a chain tied to them, especially if they're on a mission critical diving session. So they can dive, but they have a footing to get pulled back up, right? There's something to pull them up, pull them out. And that's what we talked about in earlier episodes, or a lot of our episodes about developing a team, right? Having a great team, having an ecosystem, having a support system, understanding who your stakeholders are, learning how to read the room, and knowing who your players are, right? That way you be able to handle disruption as it comes along, because disruption is what makes businesses better, right? Disruption will make you unique, or makes you part, or makes you general population, right? You want to be part general pop, or you want to be unique. You know what I mean? So
General Pop is
yeah,
my
I'm
choice.
just, you know.
Shout out to my man Marshall.
Yo,
Thanks
what's
for
up,
checking
Marsh?
in.
What's going on, Marsh? But
Yeah,
yeah, so it's about the resilience, man, and if you have enough resilience and you're able to bend without breaking, you'll grow so much. Your confidence, your understanding, you'll be able to see. You'll be able to see behind what you see. Those are that's for the ears of the people that understand what I just said, right?
yeah, that's serious. Yeah,
You'll
that's
be able to see behind what you see, and so yeah, so that's really the word, I think, to begin with as a business owner, whether you're in business now, or you starting, or you want to start, you feel pressure to start. Resilience. What is resilience, right? What is your meaning? Your purpose? What is your how are you emotionally regulated, right? For your resilience. How do you regulate your emotion when you get into situations? As James says, everybody talks about the business needs. My business needs 3,000 a month. No, but you need 5 in order to live. Don't discount yourself, because that's the hardest road to go down. You know what I mean? Relationships and support. What's the resilience of that? Because remember, we talked about this in other sessions, about leadership. No one puts on a jacket and say, "Hey, I'm a leader." Well, there are some of those that do that, but most people don't. They don't put on the jacket and say, "Hey, I'm a leader." But
yeah. They
once
just lead.
it just happens. The
Yeah,
moment you come up with an idea, you get people excited about it, and they listen to you. You're a leader. It's that simple. Whether you're having a cookout, whether you're going to the park, whether you're going on vacation. Hey guys, I got an idea to go on this vacation and do this.
whether making a beer run.
Right, correct. You're a leader. Jump in the car with me. I'll drive. You're leading. So
Mm-hmm.
let's not use that word for something bigger than, and it's only and only um leaders can wear that jacket. No, the most simplest person is a leader. The most simplest person has the greatest idea. The most simplest person has the max amount of resiliency they need to thrive. You have to pull it out. And being a business owner will pull it out of you every single day. You don't get to relax and say, yeah, as James said earlier, yeah, I'm gonna get another paycheck in 2 weeks. I'm gonna blow this one. It's cool. No problem. Business
Yeah.
owner, you don't get that. You don't get to do that, because there's some heavy consequences that come with that. And I yield.
Oh, yo, that was very good. They say you brought the next topic, but it's true, resilience and leadership. But I wanted to just build on your leadership point. Um, there are leaders, and then there's the act of leadership, and they're different. Everybody can show leadership. A leader, in some cases, is appointed or recognized as, but the strongest organization has people that show leadership up and down. I will take an example. We're small enough that nobody will say that. The United States has a leader that exhibits no leadership.
Oh boy.
That's just reality. I mean, that this particular leader concentrates on himself. He does nothing to lead people to for their benefit. If it's not for his benefit, doesn't matter. Is that leadership? But yet he's the leader. So, just an example. So whatever. That's just the truth, okay? So the fact is, that's just what it is. That's a nonpartisan truth, all right? So, but resilience is building resiliency. And that's what puts a bow on what I'm talking about. Like, you make your goals because we're all human beings, man. And you're going to get disappointed. You're going to get frustrated. You're going to question yourself. This is what, once again, the nexus, the genesis of biz therapy. These things happen in business. People act like they don't happen. Because you read a book, you listen to, Warren Buffett, Steve Jobs, whoever's the person that you read about. And I like reading biographies because it talks about the person's struggles as much as it does the success. 8 out of 10 times, their success, which is why you went to read the biography. But it's always interesting to me, even with companies, it's always interesting to me, the journey. Much as like I like the book Built on Bedrock.
Yeah.
It talks about the journey. And that's interesting to me. Is it, I wouldn't necessarily call it validation, but it gives you a sense of that reading books and things like that are part of your ecosystem too. Because you may not have as many people around to share those type of struggles with. You may not have it. So you read and you see somebody that might be in a field that or industry you don't even, you're not even interested in, but you see the end result. You see what it took to get there. As an entrepreneur, that's what's interesting because you're in the middle of that. The end game is the end game. But you need that to understand, to see see an example of resilience. I don't know how many, in popular culture, how much we don't get a lot of examples of resilience, do we? I don't think so. I mean,
we do, but I don't know that it's not something that's highlighted. You have to be paying attention because
well, that's what I mean, like common consent, for general.
I mean, the journey of people, the journey of successful people, and understanding the journey will give you it's keys. They give you keys. They give you just certain exits that don't have a sign, right? They say, it's a road and you don't know what's up that road if you're not privy to the information, if you're not privy to the understanding, right? And so I think it's first is to seek understanding, the innards of yourself. What do you understand about who you are and what you're built on? And I know we might, again, this is for the ears for those that are interested. But without having the understanding of self, whatever that means to you, you won't be able to understand, because understanding is outside of yourself, right? And so if you don't have the ears, if you don't have the eyes, if you don't have the mind shift, the growth mind shift to understand, it'll be very challenging, and your resiliency development will become a problem and you'll get stale. Hence why they say 90% of businesses fail within the first 5 to 7 years. Some is probably even quicker than that. That's not even really on the books like that. By the way, we just ran across a report, or James prepared a report, small business report a little time ago. The numbers from the world, small business owners. And this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. The average income for a small business sole proprietorship, and that's 90. It was a 93 to 96% is 25 to $35,000 a year. I'll let that sink in for a moment. Now, if they're doing the numbers, this is data. This is data collection. This is data analysis. If they're doing that data, they're collecting that data and doing the analysis on that data. And they're saying the average sole proprietorship brings in an average of 25 to 35,000 a year. Then do you really understand what you're worth? Do you really have a core positioning on your resiliency? Do you really know what you should be making? Hence why we started this conversation about having a business plan that'll allow you to give you direction, so you can know the direction you're going in. But you're gonna meet people along the way. You're gonna meet a Kory, you're gonna meet a James, you're gonna meet a whole bunch of other people along the way that's gonna say, oh yeah, you're going the right direction. When you get up two lights, make a left. Matter of fact, when you make the left, make sure you look for this landmark, because back in the day there was no GPS. And this is before MapQuest. People, you pull over and say, hey, where's such and such? Mm-hmm. And they'll point you in the right direction. That's how life goes. Yep. Right. And so being able to stand on that bedrock, that book you mentioned, right? It's about creating a foundation for yourself, something that you can always go back home to and sit still and revise your plan.
Exactly.
Now you're back, bro.
And that's the whole thing is about, look, I think to the statistic you just shared, part of that is just because people's expectations they don't have high expectations for themselves. To be honest with you, they don't say like, look, so you think about that. If you say, okay, I want to build a company that makes $250,000 a year. Right. Just a number. For some people that would be like, well, because of my experience, I'm like, I can see 250. I can see $1 million. I can see it. I understand what it takes to do that, which goes to the resilience. Like, I know what it says. It's not just because I said, yeah, I want to make that. And it happens. Like, oh, okay. This is what it's going to take for what I'm doing to make that. But to be like, that's what I want to do. I want to do that. Let me clarify. I'm not saying that your purpose is to make 250,000 years. Your purpose is outside of that. What I'm saying is that there has to be a goal. Every one of these businesses that you may think, oh, I hesitate to use the term idolize, but people fawn over. On the back end, they're boring people like me that sit there and say, hey, this is our projection based on a whole bunch of factors and stuff like that. I think a big undertone of our show is that technology has given us all the ability to do this without having to hire specific staffs. I mean, corporations have what they call FP&A, financial planning and analysis staffs that actually do budgets and they plan it out.
All they do. That's all they do.
They're not in the accounting. They're part of it. They usually report to the same corporate officer, but it's different from accounting. They sit there and they plan and analyze and they look at expenses and they look at it. They look at a lot of stuff that's with planning. And they get paid more than the accounting department too, but that's another conversation for another time. But they do, and it's a little bit high in the food chain. So you think about it; these companies value that so much, but then small businesses don't value that type of information because we're not taught to. Like it doesn't matter. We've used the map analogy or whatever, but how you going somewhere where you don't identify where you're going? It's like you just get in the car and go. Where you going? I don't know. So that's the equivalent of me asking you how much money you want to make. I don't know. Do you get in your car and say, I don't know? Now, there's times you do that. You're just going for a drive. but you do know at some point you're going back home. So you know where you're going, unless you know, I mean, but unless you are really running, then that's different. But let's just keep it, in usual times. We know where we're going, man. We know where we're going. We want to know where we're going. You go to school, you're going to school for 4 years in college to do that, master's in 2, at PhD in how many other years? You have a goal. But yeah, when we start a business, we don't have any goal. You know the goal that we look at? Most businesses fail in the first 2 to 3 years of it, or in the first 5 years. That's the thing that gets highlighted the most.
It's a common statement. I think people are too comfortable with that number right there.
Yeah. So what it is you fear, and as a we almost at the hour, but we don't really know why they fail. No one ever puts it in there. Like, no, that statement is not followed out, that most businesses fail in the first 2 to 5 years because they run out of cash.
Right.
Not because the idea wasn't good.
Right.
Not because the person didn't know how to run a business.
Right.
It's because they run out of cash.
Right.
So, but we don't plan the cash.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So
the cash plans us.
Yeah, and that's where we are. So there you go. But that was good. That was very fruitful. Very good. I think the replay of this will be kind of phenomenal. Episode 99. So. There was a lot of gems were dropped in here. You should tell a friend and tell a friend. If they're in business, they want to be in business, they're thinking about business, they're a family member of someone that's in business, or any of that, share this live. We'll get some shorts out there, some short videos, but let them know to come check us out, man, because it's about to be deep. 26, son. 26. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be deep. I'm saying. But as I said, it's all good, man. Happy holiday. All I'm gonna say, I'm always happy holidays. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa's up, Festivus, whatever you want is good. Festivus for the rest of us, if you on that Seinfeld thing, right? So that, and then Happy New Year or Merry New Year from us over here at the Heyward-CPA accounting firm. And also happy tax year, because it's coming, people, for y'all. The tax year doesn't end for us, but for y'all getting ready to celebrate. It's a year-round preparation for us, for you to celebrate for 3 months. So
yeah, I like to say, everybody, definitely Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, but most importantly, take this last week and reflect on your year. What did you learn? What did you gain? What were your wins and losses? Right? Just reflect. Write down some new things that you want to achieve. Because if whatever is not written down doesn't exist, and take the time to figure that out. And also figure out who you need, what resources you need. Who do you think you need, and try to seek those out, right? Especially our business owners, specifically. Seek out those resources, build those relationships, get into those rooms, get into those groups. If you can't find them, create them. Right, and invite the people, and just put a little more push, and measure your resiliency. Push a little harder this year, right? Push harder than you ever thought you've ever pushed hard before. And if no one's behind you, believe it, somebody's behind you. All right, because when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Mm-hmm. And on that note,
peace on that. Happy New Year, everybody.
Peace.